Hello, everyone. I'm Julian, and welcome back to the World of Matchups. If you're new to the channel, welcome and please subscribe. This week's matchup is you versus the Fellowship of the Ring. You did do your PE homework, right? So first, we must clarify. By you, I do in fact mean you, the helpless viewer of this video. You see, this started last week when you hung around with your nerd friends for too long and they sucked you into Middle-earth using a magical portal, and now you, a completely average person, have been trapped in Middle-earth for a couple of days and have nothing but the clothes on your back and the cell phone in your pocket. Luckily, there is some good news. All you have to do to break free is kill the 9 members of the Fellowship of the Ring, allow evil to take over Middle-earth, crush all your nerd friends' hearts, but hey, if you do this, you can go back home. So who are you up against? The 9 members of the Fellowship of the Ring are Boromir, Gimli, Merry, Pippin, Legolas, Frodo, Aragorn, Gandalf, and Sam. That's 4 hobbits, 3 humans, 1 elf, and 1 dwarf. These brave heroes in the normal course of events would go on to stop Sauron and save Middle-earth, that is, until you came along. Now, normally this is the part where I say, who would win? And I continue in a monotonous voice until you exit the video. But this time, in that same monotonous voice, I'm going to state the simple question. How will you ever survive? In order to benefit your survival, you will have to trick the members of the Fellowship into fighting you one at a time. So I would advise you to trick Boromir into fighting you by himself. But alas, remember that part about you having nothing but your phone? Yeah, that's a bit of a problem. Boromir is an armored human carrying a sword, and he has a horn. Luckily, you were smart enough to trick him into fighting you in a forest in Middle-earth. First, you will need to find a vine from a blackberry bush and tie it between 2 trees. Then stand in one spot across from them and hope you got his attention. You soon spot him and he sees you. He is enraged at you and charges at you with his sword aloft. He trips over the vine and falls down. It's simply a matter of picking up a rock or a strong piece of wood and bashing him on the head until he's unconscious. Then I would advise you to take his sword belt and his sword and slit his throat. Now you have 8 opponents left. My best guess is that Gandalf and the hobbits will stay behind and keep the Ring of Power safe. However, this does mean that Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli are hunting you down. Instead of running away, I would advise that you set up an ambush. Lean Boromir's remains against the tree and hide just behind it with your sword drawn. Aragorn will be the first to approach the body and ignore his own safety. As he gets close, hold your sword steady, and as he is mere inches from you, thrust your sword into his heart. Assuming you were successful, you will not want to try and retrieve your weapon, as it will take too long to try and remove it from his flesh. Rather, take Aragorn's sword from his belt. It will be very sharp and has just been forged anew. Now Gimli will charge at you and Legolas will fire an arrow. Unfortunately for you, elves are some of the best archers in the known world. If you can escape his arrow, your next problem will be the axe charging at you. I would now advise you to run, but know that Legolas can run fast too. I would run towards Gimli, and as he is preparing to swing his axe, go for the legs, as this is where the least amount of armor is generally. If you can disable him, then you will survive for now. Next, chop off his arms while being wary of Legolas's arrows. Legolas will then hopefully realize you are not worried about his arrows, and he'll charge at you with his long knives drawn. Take the axe and charge at the elf, but be careful as he is quite nimble. Try to take out his arms. If you succeed in taking them out, he will valiantly call out, "'Tis but a flesh wound," and you shall slice off his head. Now the rest of the group should keep moving, but be wary of the wizard, Gandalf. I would take Legolas's bows and his arrows and practice until you become a decent shot while following them on their way to Mordor. Then one of the knights take the bow and the arrows and shoot Gandalf in the heart while he's sleeping, and then one more time for good measure. The rest of the group are all rookies with hairy feet with no practical fighting experience. Take your sword and your arrows and bow and slaughter the rest of them. But be wary of the Ring of Power, which can turn Frodo invisible to you because you're a regular human. If you take him out first, though, immediately following taking out Gandalf, then you'll have no problems. Take the Ring of Power with you to regular Earth, and feel proud knowing you ruined a good series of books, as well as some great movies. Thanks, guys. Hope you enjoyed this. Contact me on social media and check out my books, which are way better than my channel. Also on LP 94.9 KYAC every Friday at 5. I've become a radio DJ. See you soon. Also, no plans for next week's matchup, so drop me some ideas. And if you want to contact us on social media, I'll drop the links below. See you guys next week.